Good morning, dear listeners. Today we continue our series of podcasts on the Kybalion and especially my book, The Seven Laws of Reality and Being, which is a kind of commentary to the Kybalion, but with many different chapters on different spiritual methods and similarities to the Kybalion in regard to the seven laws of reality. So today we basically go back to the first principle of mind, of pure being, which is the timeless mind, the source of all phenomena, the source of all the other six laws and principles. And we discover two Hermetic methods described in the Kybalion and the Arcane Teachings for discovering the timeless mind of pure being. So first we must understand that this mind of pure being is a potentiality and it's identityless. So it has no identity, although it's individual. So it's individually recognized. So every sentient being can and does recognize its own source of the timeless mind of pure being, but this is what is recognized is without any identity, because it's not findable as a specific thing. So this awareness of pure being is the central principle and the root of all things, and it is the potentiality of all that is self-perceived by its own awareness. So this is not to be confused with an altered state of mind. An altered state of mind, whether it is induced by meditation naturally or other methods like tantra, sexual methods, or psychological methods, or drug-induced methods like hallucinogenic methods. All of these are not the timeless mind of pure being, for the simple fact that they fluctuate in time, they come and go, they arise, they have a certain flavor, and then they disappear after a certain time. So they cannot be a timeless event, but the recognition can be in time. So one can recognize in time the timeless source, and that is an event in time, of course, but it's an event that is related and connected to timelessness, which makes it a timeless event. So this is very important, because nowadays there are many methods and many many people that claim that some methods can open your mind. Yes, that is true. Mind can be opened, but it's still mind, it's still in time, it's still conditioned by cause and effect, so therefore is not the absolute truth. So anyway, we go to the one method that is explained in the Hermetic teaching, and it's similar to other methods found in other traditions, but this is to visualize oneself divested of all thoughts, feelings, identification with the body-mind complex. So one sets aside everything as the not the I, so category of attributes and characteristics of one's personality. So one sort of self-examines and strips itself of all personality and attributes, and at the end of this search, sort of a self-introspective search, it is possible to acknowledge something left, and they call it a third or a irreducible element. So it's a insoluble residuum. It's something that can be experienced, but it cannot be described, and or designated in any rational terms, and it's this element is not an altered state of consciousness, and therefore one simply has to find it for himself or herself. There is no other ways cannot be induced by an external agent. So in my book there are many more descriptions of these qualities of these, etc. We're not going to explore in details. So this is just one method, and there is another method which is described also in my book, which comes from the Arcane Teachings, and so this is more to do with the potentiality, the will potentiality of the mind, of your being, and it's basically this is a method that one can just visualize himself or herself as in empty space, and should imagine a tiny center of power formed in this great ocean of potentiality, and one should see infinite number of similar center of potentialities and formed, and they're all formed by the same substance, which is mindness, which is a sort of awareness, and every center of this power is basically as the whole universe, as a self-perception revolving around it. And so this is just an introduction, and we're not going into details. And then there is another method which is also related, but we're not going to describe it. It's somewhat similar to the first method, and one should feel that is rising above on a kind of balloon, and visualize that all characteristics and personalities, attributes are throwing off the balloon until one is completely naked, not of clothes but of attributes, and one should recognize what is left after this search. And usually there is this has to be repeated and repeated. It cannot be actualized the first time. It has to be repeated and repeated endlessly until the search comes to a point where a kind of timeless ground of presence is recognized, and then this is the basic starting point of all the methods related to the 7 laws of reality, which employ visualization, working with the law of cause and effect, the law of vibration, and all the other, also the law of prayer, and also the positive statements. Okay, and we will explore more the next podcast, how to develop the power of meditation and presence of the mind, and which is conducive to then recognizing the mind of pure being as a sort of starting point, because usually without concentration and presence of mind, undistracted presence and meditation, it's impossible to recognize the source. Okay, so this is all for today. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to speak to you in the next podcast.